Writing equations, expressions, and inequalities. For this particular section, I found this cool picture last week. There are some ants. I wanted to say that they're in Mexico, but I could be wrong on their location now. But there are ants that have transparent abdomens, and this artist gave them some sugar water that he'd put a little bit of food coloring in. It didn't harm the ants, it was completely safe, but it made for some really cool pictures because since they are see-through, you can see the colors on the inside. You can see the colors through their abdomens. Here's a little bit of equation vocabulary that will help you in deciphering these expressions, equations, and inequalities. First of all, addition. When you see the words plus, sum, increased by, total, more than, or added to, you'll be discussing addition. Minus, difference, fewer than, less than, and decreased or decreased by will all insinuate subtraction. For multiplication, times, product, multiplied by, and of by itself, will all imply multiplication. Lastly, division is implied by divided by, quotient of, and per. Notice with quotient, we've got of in there. Multiplication, when it appears of by itself, it means multiplication, but it can be paired with other words. Let's talk about what expressions, equations, and inequalities actually are. Expressions are mathematical statements that do not have equal signs or inequalities. Equations are two of these expressions with an equal sign in the middle. And inequalities are two expressions separated by one of your four inequality symbols. To remind you what your inequality symbols are, this is less than. An arrowhead pointed to the right means greater than. To the left with a line under is less than or equal to. And finally, to the right with a line under is greater than or equal to. Let's look at these. The first one, 4 times the difference of 6 and a number is at least 10. Okay, so we've got a lot going on. Let me see. I'm going to take the and number out, and I'm going to put in x. So 4 times the difference of 6 and x. So I'm taking 4 times the difference. So I'm going to have to take 6 minus x first. Then I'm going to take 4 times the difference of that. So that has to be done first, and then I'm going to multiply it by 4. At least 10. So if it's at least 10, it could be 10. It could be 11, it could be 15, it could be 1,987 3/10. So it could be greater than 10, or it could be equal to 10. So there's my first inequality. A number is at least 5 and less than 17. So again, I'm going to get rid of a number and change it into x. It's at least 5 and less than 17. This one, we're not going to have too many of these this year, but this is what's called a compound inequality. That means your variable's in the center, and then you've got 2 inequality symbols, one on either side. If it's at least 5, let's put 5 here and 17 here. You want to put your number that's the smallest on the left and the largest on the right. So if x is at least 5, it could be greater than 5. So it could be 6, it could be 7. So if it's at least 5, it's going to be 5 is less than or equal to x. And x is less than 17, so my inequality will look like this. You really won't have any compound inequalities on your homework tonight. I just wanted to show you one, just in case you do encounter it. Try these two problems on the right now. Pause your computer. Use your vocabulary words if necessary. Did you get the right answers? If you did, give yourself a yes with some exclamation points. If you didn't, give yourself an X. Go back and look at your vocabulary and put a circle around your X once you've figured it out. Note you can write this X divided by 2 several different ways. You can write it as X over 2 or X slash 2. Would also imply division. The last piece of this is, are these values solutions to the equations or inequalities? In the directions for this one, I have, is 5 a solution to the equation or inequality? But a lot of the times, you'll see a semicolon, and it'll say D equals 5 off to the side. All that means is everywhere you have a D, you're going to remove that and put 5 in its place. So for the first one, we've got 24 minus 3 times 5, and I want to know, does that in fact equal 9? Let's see, order of operations, I'm going to have 24 minus 3 times 5 is 15. And 24 minus 15 does equal 9. So since that's true, 9 equals 9, that's a true statement. Is this a solution? Yes. Pause your video and try the next two on your own. The red inequality, 5 does work, so that's a yes. For the green inequality, 5 does not work, so that's a no. If you got it correct, give yourself a regular smiley face. If you did not get it correct, put an X. Go back and figure out your mistake and circle your X when you are finished. Look up on the board for your homework problems for this section.